Hey everybody, Scott here. Just getting back into the swing of things. And today we are drinking one of my favorite recent year teas. I drank this a few days ago and I was just really wowed by how good it tasted. It had been, I don't know, maybe 6-8 months since I'd had it, and it really has changed a lot. The tea that I'm talking about is the 2015 Yunnan sourcing Qing Gu Shu. Qing village is in Jinggu County in Simao, and this is a spring 2015 pressing. The first pressing that we did of this was autumn 2014, which I believe is now sold out. And this one, I think we only pressed 50 kilos. It'll probably sell out fairly soon. I don't know, sometime this year perhaps. It's one of those teas that's from mature tea trees that are, I believe, 100 to 300 years old in that area. So it's kind of, you know, a mix of different aged tea trees, but mature. Some of them fairly old. And yeah, we're just going to drink this tea, and I'll talk a little bit about it. And yeah, let's get started. I've got a little treat here for Lucy because she's being good. Lucy, you want a treat? There you go. All right, let's get started. I am using 7 grams in my Mountains and Water 120 milliliter pure silver teapot. So I'm a real big fan of silver, as everybody knows. I don't want to repeat myself over and over again, but I really like it for pu'er, especially, and any kind of teas that need a lot of heat. So let's give this a little wash, give it a little agitation here. For those of you that have been watching the Can We Stump Xiao videos, we are going to do, in May, we're going to have a series of Can We Stump Scott videos, which we all know the answer is yes. I probably will do much more poorly than Xiao, so be watching for those. A lot of people are like, well, when do you have to go under the gun, as it is? And I will. So be watching for those. We had a great time. Xiao really enjoyed it. She did a great job. Yeah, I'm still amazed at how astute she is when it comes to these teas. But you know, not surprising either, considering how involved she is with the teas. So. This. Oh, yeah, it's almost got like a meatiness, like a floral, I don't know, meatiness maybe isn't the right word, but almost like a soup, like a chicken mushroom soup or something. It's really thick and just really like food tasting. Come on, Lucy, sit down. Come here. Lucy, come here. You want a cookie? Come here. Come here. Where is it? Come here. Come here. Ayo. She says, don't do this to me. Anyways. We have to lock Lucy in when we make the videos. Otherwise, in the middle of the video, especially this time of day, the squirrels are out, and she goes out and she goes crazy chasing the squirrels around and jumping up on trees and hurting her legs. She keeps injuring her back legs because she's jumping up and on the trees trying to get at the squirrels. So to keep from having our tea session too interrupted, we are keeping her in. Get on your bed, Lucy. Come on, get on your bed. Come on. Good girl. Yeah. And I wanted to thank everybody again. If you want to check out who won the design contest, you can go to blog.yunnansourcing.com and see who won. We also had a poll on Facebook, and although a lot of the people who scored well in the poll didn't necessarily win. Ultimately, I had to make the choice based on what I thought was going to work well for the wrappers and the designs and stuff. I like to be able to have the stamps, you know, as we have here. And so anyways, but we just had so many great designs. Like, I think we had 80 designs in total. And so I wasn't even able to give everybody the credit that they deserved. But unfortunately, that's how it is with the contest, you know. So you have winners and losers, but generally almost everybody's design that I got was really solid. So, you know, if you didn't win, maybe try next year, or, you know, accept my sincere apologies. Wow. Oily, but in a good way, kind of like a creamy oiliness, fruit, flowers, and there's a nice bitterness there too. This is one of those teas too that I think where Jinggu really demonstrates itself as having teas that can be bitter without too much astringency, or at least having a good amount of bitterness and astringency together. A lot of teas like this actually have been traditionally taken or sold as Iwu teas to people who don't know any better, because they share a lot of similarities with Iwu teas. They have that butteriness and that kind of like, you know, full-bodied taste, sweet, bitter, and then also the leaf itself often has some, you know, the pick and the style of the leaf looks somewhat similar to Iwu tea as well. I don't want to overdo it here. I'll try not to talk too much. As soon as I start talking, I end up messing up my tea brewing. I have a little bit of a clog here. Let's do a nice high pour, cool it down. Just keep going. Oh, still too hot. The aroma of this tea is really nice too. The second steeping here is just grand. Yeah, it's like drinking, well, it's like drinking really good raw pu'er. I'm always trying to find the right words to describe the experience, but it's so hard because it's just not, there just aren't that many analogous experiences or tastes with these teas. Nice, really good mouthfeel. It's really like one of those ones you can do this and really get a feeling for the tea even after even after you've swallowed it. Let's go with the next steep here, finish this cup. Oh, I also wanted to let people know that we have pressed just recently some new cakes under the Yunnan sourcing label. We have pressed the 2017 impression. That should be, by the time this video is out, that should be available. We also pressed a Yiwu Wild Arbor Ripe Tea, also the Year of the Rooster pressing. And also, as well, 2 certified organic, Yunnan sourcing certified organic ripe pu'er teas, one gongting and one just like a blend of different leaf grades. And those are actually USDA certified organic. They're certified, the the tea garden that we're working with in Simao is EcoCert certified, and they're certified with iFoam. So vis-a-vis iFoam, they're also USDA, and they have their own certificates. So that's really exciting to be able to offer that as well. This is one of those teas that just has so many layers to it, and it's so thick and and it just really pops in the mouth. This is again just one of those teas that really demonstrates, you know, how great and how complex just a single estate tea, a tea from a good example of a single estate tea with, you know, that has so much complexity, and, you know, and it has power, and it has, you know, it has a really good mouthfeel as well, and it's long lasting. And so far, just in the last, I guess it's been almost basically 3 years now, this has aged wonderfully. So again, you know, the tradition, although the tradition of single estate teas is much newer than the blended teas, we have a lot of really good examples of teas that are single estate teas that have aged wonderfully. Even some of the larger tea factories, if you look back to Menghai Tea Factory in the late 90s and the early 2000s, the most sought after of all of their teas are their single estate teas. Their Yiwu, their big green tree Yiwu, Zhengshan, which is now commands a price of, I think 6,000. They're 1999, $6,000 or $7,000. And that's just amazing tea, and that's a single estate tea. And then as well, their 2002 or 2003 Da Bites High large cabbage certified organic, like 2-star, 3-star, 4-star, 5-star Lao Banjiangs, which I believe are 2003. So, you know, again, interesting that the most sought after teas and the most highest priced teas that have been produced in the last 20 years that have really gone up the most dramatically and the most sought after are all single estate teas, all small, you know, relatively small productions, although they were done by Menghai Tea Factory. And then as well, you know, seeing some of these, early Hailong productions as well. And even if you can go back almost 10 years, where our 2009 productions are, you know, 9 years old now. So you can go back and taste some of those and you know, decide for yourself. Of course, it's also a style as well. You know, single estate tea, how it ages and how it tastes. It's a different style, and you know, I personally love it, but you know, it also comes down to a matter of personal preference and personal taste. This is just a very lubricating, you know. Chinese, they say 润, 很润. It's very smooth, and it just creates this kind of slippery, nice, you know, coating. But then you're also getting like this mouth-watering. I'm really getting this mouth-watering feel now as well. And the cha chi is definitely noticeable. I'm feeling it a little, I don't want to say giddy or anything like that, but just kind of like, you know, a little bit of that feeling, you know, going through me. I gotta keep feeding the beast. Lissy, you're a good girl. So yeah, Daqing, 2014 autumn. I believe that's sold out, although there might be a couple cakes on the Yunnan Sourcing US website still, if you're interested. And the autumn is really solid too. When we first got the autumn and offered that, and it was just like, wow, you know, this is, And again, I think that one was only 30 kilos. The spring of 2015, we were able to do 50. And then again, we pressed it in 2016 spring and 2017 spring as well. I can't remember exactly which autumn, the autumn ones. I know that we did an autumn pressing in 2017. I can't remember if we did one in 2016, but there's several Daqings available. And it might actually make sense for us to do a Daqing village sampler as well, because I think we have 5 or 6 pressings now from this particular village. So it's funny because I was talking with Steve Odell on Facebook, and he was talking about, wow, I'm really starting to understand how thorough you are with having cattle, doing all these different villages and having, you know, just like a record of like this village and this tea from this harvest. And I said, yeah. I said, I'm trying, this kind of just popped into my head, and I said, I'm creating drinkable slices of history. And that's kind of what I'm doing. It's not about, you know, it's not about me, and I do create some of my own blends and things like that, but it's really about taking this, like a snapshot of this time and this tea. And of course they have to be good. It's not just, you know, no matter what, we have these different villages and we have to create these teas. I want to create good teas. I want to create, you know, teas that have been traditionally processed, teas that haven't been processed in, you know, that don't have processing errors and things like that. They have to be good. They have to be clean. But once we've filtered out all the stuff that doesn't fit into that, what we have is a very, you know, a bunch of different villages and areas and harvests, and that's kind of what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to just take that and create that and have that be there for people to try. So it's, you know, that term, creating, you know, slices of drinkable history, is, I think, really an apt kind of tagline, as it were, for what I'm trying to do with my single estate pressings. So anyways, talk too much. What happens to the tea? Yeah, let's keep going here. I may reboil the water because I've been fairly verbose and I want to get the water heated up again. I know I'm probably breaking a rule by reheating the water, but I'm going to do it. I can't just dump it out. Trying to think what else is going on. Just try to fill the spaces here with updates and things like that. Spring teas are coming out. Loose leaf teas, white teas, green teas, black teas, all coming out. So be watching for those. Xiao's over there now. I'll be headed over there soon. And yeah, we're just going to knock out another spring and just get the best teas and get them in the door and get them out to everybody out there to enjoy. So far, the weather seems to be cooperating. Not too dry, not too rainy, not too hot, not too cold. So my experience so far is with the teas has been is that it's gonna be a good spring. A little bit of astringency creeping in now. This tea also is coming out particularly strong because I just used kind of like what was in the wrapper. So there was a chunk, and then probably about a third of it was a little bit, you know, broken up, which I actually like. And I have a theory that that a lot of the reason that that these, you know, like big factory pressings where they have graded really small tea leaves and then they use hyper tight compression, and then as you're breaking into those kind of cakes you get tons of broken stuff too. And then of course because of the tight compression, the tea can be brewed longer as well because it takes longer to open up, and it has this kind of building strength, and then it'll hit a high point. But when you have a lot of broken leaf and small leaf in a raw cake, it's really strong. But of course you can also taste a lot of, the bitterness, and the astringency tends to be more pronounced as well. And when you have, broken leaf. But when you combine that with having it be tightly compressed and not having it, versus if you just had a bunch of loose broken leaf or grated smaller leaf, if you had it loose and brewed it in a pot, and then over here you had a super tight chunk of it that was compressed, it would be a totally different session. So that's a really interesting thing to consider as well when you're drinking different teas, like a stone press with nice whole leaves versus super tight compression where you're breaking it apart and you've got all this like little, stuff, and you put it in there. Know that the way that the tea tastes has a lot to do with the form that the tea comes in, the shape, and the level of compression, as well as just the quality of the leaves. Yeah, I just have this tendency when I drink teas like this to just kind of sit here and, smack my lips, and I'm getting this real nice mouth-watering effect from this tea as well. Let's keep going. Still got some really nice hot water here. Oh, a little tea burp. Still going strong here. I forgot what steep we're on. Is it 5 or 6? There's a real nice spiciness and sweetness that's creeping in now. The bitterness has taken a little bit of a back seat as well, so there's a little more sweetness. The other thing too is I tend to, I want to talk a little bit about this as well. I tend to brew teas a little bit stronger, and I tend to push them a little bit more as well. I am not, I think this tea, some people could take this tea 12, 14 steeps maybe if they wanted to. And of course I could too as well if I did a little bit of a shorter steepings and kind of extended it out. But I personally just prefer, most of the teas, even the ones, like I get a lot of people, reviews and people saying, oh, I drank this tea 12 times or 14 times, and I'll drink it, and I'll tend to drink it maybe like 8 to 10 times. And I just like to push it a little bit more. I also like to keep my sessions shorter because I do multiple sessions per day. So I don't just want to sit and drink a tea, like drink until I have to go to the bathroom like 3 times, So I really, and that's fine. I'm not saying that, people, if they get enjoyment out of brewing the tea really, really more gradually, Gong Fu Cha is really kind of there's no set way to do Gong Fu Cha, and you really have to adapt it to the kind of tea too. So, obviously do what you enjoy, but I tend to try to brew, of course it depends on the tea, but anywhere from like 7 to 10 times. I usually don't go past 10 just because I just want to move on. And, I also am not like, I'm not lacking for tea. So I don't, I can be a little bit wasteful the later steeps because I just find like the last ones tend to be a little bit less interesting. So I kind of want to, compress my session and shorten it, and then get as much out of the tea as I can, in less than 10 brews, sometimes just 8. And I know the teas can go farther, and I could do them more gradually, but I just prefer not to. I just really like to just boom, just have it pop, even if it's like 6, 7 steeps, if it's like 5 to 7 steeps that are just really like wowza, then I'm really happy with the tea and how it performed. So, each to his own, but that's kind of more my approach. Of course, sometimes, you have a bunch of people around the table and you just want to you want to chat and you want to drink tea, and you don't just want to just get, blammoed, as it were, by the tea. And so, having a tea just kind of weaken and kind of drink it and have it be, tea is also nice as well. So. Anyways, well, we'll drink this next one. I keep doing these fake endings. I'm like, well, anyways, it's about, well, no, we're gonna drink one more. All right, let's try this one. Get one more in there. Just let that one sit and come back to it after the video is done and sip it. I like to do that too. I like to just leave it for like hours and then come back to it, and when it's nice and cool, or the next morning, and just literally like drink it out of the pot. Of course, you can only do that if it's cooled down. Nice spiciness here. It's still real full. This tea is not giving up. The fact that I reboiled the water really helped as well. Just kind of bring it back up. So I do recommend, if you don't like to reboil the water, just use less water. The problem with using less water is then it cools down faster as well. So I prefer to just use it full, because it's the more water, the more it'll hold the heat. And then a bit later, I'll just reboil it, and I try not to let it boil too long. As soon as the bubbles start to appear, I try to remember to turn it off, because you don't want to overboil the water. That tends to make the water harder. Real nice brothy sweetness to it now. There's a little bit of astringency. It's not so much a taste as a feeling on the tongue. There's a little bit of dryness, but that's barely kind of like starting that astringency and dryness is just starting a little bit now. Up until now, it's just been all, and it still is that real slippery kind of, in Chinese they call it run, the very slippery and smooth and soothing. And I think that's one of the things about this tea that I really like, is it's really full-bodied, but it's really soothing in the mouth. It's hard to pin down the exact flavor profile, because I just don't really, again, I don't, Sheng Cha especially is, Sheng Pu'er, Ra Pu'er is really one of those teas that's just really hard to, have an analogous, flavor, have analogous flavor profiles for, like this is this and this is this. It just doesn't really work, because it's really its own thing, So I'll leave it at that. I'm gonna let this sit for a while and maybe come back to it and drink this last steep. This still tea definitely has a lot of power. It's clean, feels good, it's full-bodied, it's 3 years in, it's really aging well, and I highly recommend it. If you check it out on unadulterated.com or unadulterated.us. If you look down below there in the description, we'll put a link to this tea as well. And definitely subscribe so that you get notifications about our new videos as they come out, because there's lots of tidbits of information that I share only in the videos. So if you are thinking that you want to follow us and subscribe, I would very much appreciate it. Thank you.